77 WABC.
After the war, I went back to New York.
After the war, I went back to New York.
I finished up my studies and I practiced law.
I practiced law, Burr worked next door.
Even though we started at the very same time, Alexander Hamilton began to climb. How to account for his rise to the top? Man, the man is non-stop.
Gentlemen of the jury, I'm curious, bear with me. Are you aware that we're making history? This is the first murder trial of our brand new nation, the liberty behind the liberation. I intend to prove beyond the shadow.
All right, this is obviously from Hamilton, right? And that's the big story this weekend, that the VP-elect decided to go to Broadway. He probably rues that decision now. Welcome back Monday morning on the Bernie and Sid Show right here on legendary 77 WABC. Got a guest today, a couple of good guests leading up to Thursday or Thanksgiving holiday, a 3-day work week here on the Bernie and Sid Show. Most shows, actually. And I guess Hamilton, Bernard, is where it... that's where the big news comes from this weekend. Hamilton.
Except you and I were talking about Padma Lakshmi.
No, we were talking about camel toe, to be honest.
Well, I mean, they put it on full display in the New York Post.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't.
I mean, like a big ass picture of her and in a bathing suit with that.
No
with
good.
Camel. Remember the song? Oh no, she got a camel toe.
Yes, I love that song. Sure. You know, the guys actually like that. There's a category on XNXX for that.
Is that right?
I find it gross.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
You like that? You like that?
I liked it on Chris Christie when he was at Yankee Stadium.
well, right.
I thought that was hot.
Right. That's not really a camel toe.
But on
though.
women, nah.
No, it's gross.
Only on fat guys.
But women have to know when they're wearing those pants and it's all the way like seeped up like that, and you can see the whole thing. They got to know that guys don't. Oh, maybe guys do like that.
Some guys do. Very subjective.
Oh, it's gross. Come on.
I don't particularly care for it or not care for it. It's just that I was jarred looking at it on page 3 of the New York Post.
Yeah, it's there.
It was like,
I particularly don't care for it. I'm going to say that right now. I'm not a fan of that.
All right. So Saturday night.
Why even transition at this point?
Why not?
Let's just take phone calls. Camel toe? Yes or no?
Talk about
Donald Trump loves a good camel toe.
Talk about P words. A stage full of them.
Yeah.
These thumb-sucking, ignorant crybabies up on stage at the Hamilton play, which is a great play. I thought a great premise. I read Ron Chernow's book years ago. Loved Alexander Hamilton and the fact that somebody, no matter who, and they did it in a brilliant way, brought it to the American people's attention. As a matter of fact, it was this play that saved Hamilton's mush, kept it on the $10 bill. If it wasn't for this play, these idiots down in Washington, the Obama administration, was going to take Hamilton off. If they based on a stupid play instead of reading books and boning up and realizing this guy was the real American. This is the true American story right here, the Horatio Fellatio Alger story, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Right.
Alexander Hamilton embodied it big time, and then of course. He had his falling out with the political establishment in general, and then he went back to being a lawyer, and he had the duel with Aaron Burr, who was the vice president.
Yes.
And the actor who played Aaron Burr stands up and lectures the vice presidential elect after the guy came in and got booed by the classless audience. Now, I'm wondering, is that a reflection on New Yorkers, or is these a bunch of
we're all
out of towners?
We're all Dems here. Listen,
but you know how Broadway is. It's an out of town type of thing.
Some.
Or was it the elite, out-of-touch liberal, I'll pay $150 a ticket because it ain't the regular people going to see that crap.
No. I'm okay with them booing Mike Pence. I'm sorry. That you signed up for the job. You're the VP. You had a very controversial campaign. You and the guy that won the election. You get booed tough. But with that said, I agree with you for the actor on stage to actually read a note to Mike Pence. And look, I'm no fan of Donald Trump or Mike Pence, and I just said, in fact, he should get booed if people want to do that. There is no way you can make a legitimate excuse for the actor to direct anything towards Mike Pence when he goes to see a show with his family. That was way out of line. Way out of line.
Terrible. And I will say this, it was a theater. The guy was an actor. John Wilkes Booth was an actor, and he killed Abraham Lincoln in a theater.
I think Republicans just should not go to the theater.
Stay out.
Nothing good has ever come of it.
Fine.
Apparently not. I mean, it was a very dangerous situation.
Not really. No.
It was like it was, and somebody else has called it a verbal lynching.
Oh,
which it was. The guy goes in, he gets booed, he gets heckled, and then on the stage and the crowd outside, the crowd inside, it's just been an awful, perilous. Thank God for the Secret Service.
No, it wasn't perilous.
Classless.
I agree that the actor never should have said a word to Mike Pence, but let's not go crazy here. So
When you got,
to Lincoln.
I'll tell you, when you got these mutts on TV who continually, in the entertainment media and journalism, the KKK, fascists, and all this nonsense, this idiotic stuff, when they're actually mouthing these misleading things, I mean, no wonder you have an ignorant half an electorate out there that actually believes that crap. I mean, you have Whoopi Goldberg talking about, we're not going back to slavery. What are you talking about? So if people are listening to that crap, now Mike Pence being the classy guy that he is.
He's all right. Yeah, all right.
He's very classy.
He's all right. Why, because he has white hair?
No, just because of his demeanor.
All right.
And the way he handled it. As a matter of fact, go. This is the second clip, but don't play cut 10 here. Well, let's play the what the Hamilton cast said, cut 7, and then we'll play how Mike Pence reacted to it.
We had a guest in the audience this evening. And Vice President-elect Pence, I see you walking out, but I hope you will hear us just a few more moments. There's nothing to boo here, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing to boo here. We're all here sharing a story of love. We have a message for you, sir. We hope that you will hear us out. And I encourage everybody to pull out your phones and tweet and post, because this message needs to be spread far and wide, okay? Vice President-elect Pence, we welcome you, and we truly thank you for joining us here at Hamilton, an American Musical. We really do. We, sir, we are the diverse America who are alarmed and anxious that your new administration will not protect us, our planet, our children, our parents, or defend us and uphold our inalienable rights, sir. But we truly hope that this show has inspired you to uphold our American values and to work on behalf of all of us. All of us. Wonderful American story told by
all right, enough of these idiots. Play Pence.
Mike Pence.
Governor, what did you think of the cast comments, and did you consider it rude?
Well, first off, my daughter and I and her cousins really enjoyed the show. Hamilton is just an incredible production and incredibly talented people, and it was a real joy to be there. And when we arrived, we heard a few boos and we heard some cheers, and I nudged my kids and reminded them that's what freedom sounds like. And but at the end, I did hear what was said from the stage, and I can tell you I wasn't offended by what was said. I'll leave to others whether that was the appropriate venue to say it.
All right, that was a classy response.
It
Very
was.
Nice.
I mean, look, again, he was with his daughters. I mean,
Wasn't
just picture Obama going with his daughters somewhere, and the crowd, a mob booing and then being lectured from the stage. You would hear the cries of racism loud and clear.
Well, of course. Well, but that goes without saying. That doesn't mean.
No, it goes with saying, and that's why.
If I'm in a public place with Donald Trump and they show him on the big screen, I'm going to boo him. Why not? I don't understand. Why not?
You're allowed to boo him.
Of course. But in terms of the actor on stage actually addressing him, that is way out of line.
1-800-848.
Which, by the way, that's why I'm not going to see Hamilton this Saturday. Instead, Hamilton, they know that I'm going to see A Bronx Tale on Broadway. Chaz Palminteri's new musical. Of course, it was the great one-man show. Still is on Broadway. The great movie with Chaz and Robert De Niro and all those great actors. Now a musical on Broadway, and we are going on Saturday night. I think Michael Riedl's going to be there, and Bo Dietl, too.
Michael Riedl and Bo Dietl.
Yeah.
1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid. A lot of things happening out there.
Yes, a lot going on. The Giants beat the Bears.
Yeah, well.
They're 7-3. They've won 5 straight. Take your Tom Coughlin and shove that.
Thanks to the defense.
It doesn't matter. Ben McAdoo gets the win. You hate Ben McAdoo.
I don't hate Ben McAdoo.
You despise Ben McAdoo.
I do not. I don't like the Giants organization right now because of the way they threw a good man under the bus, Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
And also the fact that on their official website, they can't put the name Redskins, a bunch of pussies.
Well, that's right.
Bunch of politically correct.
That's good. You were yelling about Phil Sims a couple of weeks ago, which, by the way, you heard that. He's very upset with you.
No, he's not.
I swear to God.
You know what? He's not a thumb-sucking little snowflake.
He's very upset.
He can handle criticism.
I know,
but big boy.
He said, of all people, I thought Bernie was my guy.
I am his guy. I didn't criticize Phil Simms.
I'm like, he's a Jet fan, Phil. He's a Jet fan.
Doesn't matter.
Down
I
deep,
go
Joe
way back.
Namath is his boy.
I go way back with Phil Simms.
I know you do. He loves you.
I've had dinner with Phil Simms. He's a good guy.
Him and Jim Nance both happen to love you.
And I did not criticize him. You brought his name up.
I'm kidding. God, you talk about snowflakes and sensitive little...
I want to set the record
Christ.
straight. I'm not a snowflake. I'm not offended at all. I just want to set the record straight.
Phil loves
Phil
you.
is not offended. He's not a snowflake.
Let me say this. I don't know, and I mean this, I swear from the bottom of my heart, I don't know anybody that doesn't like you. Anybody. Except for Al Sharpton. That's it. Sharpton hates you. Otherwise, I don't know anybody.
How about that rat out there talking about... for example, the Sessions, the Attorney General nominee.
I can't blame him for that. I'm with him.
Well, you happen to be wrong. He's wrong.
No,
you're with Al Sharpton?
Yes.
Al Sharpton, the Jew hater?
No. I hate Al Sharpton.
How dare he?
But I think Jeff Sessions is a bad guy. I really do. I mean, I don't know what Donald Trump is doing.
Based on what, Sid?
What do you mean based on what?
I mean, how do you base your opinion?
He's a racist. And a Jew hater? And anything you want me to keep going?
Yes, but you just throw out names. I'm asking you.
You tell me
what you base it on.
You tell me what happened back in the Reagan administration. What happened in the Reagan administration?
No, I'm not calling him a racist.
When in fact
he was. I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah, what happened?
When he was nominated for a judgeship.
And what happened?
There was a couple of lawyers that said he said a couple of things,
right?
And so the judgeship was denied. And the swing vote.
Hold on. You said he said a couple of things. Let's be specific about that.
Two lawyers alleged that he said racist things.
Right.
One of those lawyers was subsequently disbarred and convicted of bribery.
Had a rough week.
All right. So, and then also the swing vote in that particular incident was Arlen Specter from Pennsylvania, who subsequently said that was one of the worst votes he ever made because he got to know Jeff Sessions in the Senate.
And now he loves him.
And well, Arlen's dead now, but he did say, he did say that it was a terrible thing that what he did because, but do you know that this guy actually he campaigned against George Wallace. He actually voted for desegregation laws. He voted to give Rosa Parks, who was from Alabama, the medal of some Gold Star Medal of Freedom or something like that.
Yeah.
He also had prosecuted a KKK member saw to it that the KKK member was executed.
Listen. I don't care. I don't care what these guys vote for, what they say in public. I knew all of that.
You did not.
Sessions is exactly what both Republicans and Democrats are making him out to be, including Chuck Schumer, who's very upset with the Sessions pick.
Okay,
very upset.
By the way,
and he works out with Sessions together in the gym.
I like Chuck Schumer a lot better than I did after seeing him on the Sunday morning shows yesterday. I must say that.
Why do you say that?
Because I just liked him. He just seems more reasonable.
He thinks that Jeff Sessions is an issue. He thinks that's a horrible pick by Donald Trump.
Yeah, and that's because and you say after I say all these things, you say, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
There's one major issue that I left out, and that's the big issue, and that's the one that Chuck Schumer cited.
Which was that?
Well, I'm asking you.
I didn't watch Chuck Schumer yesterday.
This is what I'm saying.
You couldn't pay me to watch Chuck Schumer.
If you don't know, and that's what a lot of these people don't realize. They don't know what's going on.
I knew everything you just mentioned just now, and it didn't change my mind even a little bit.
I don't believe you did, A.
I did.
And B, this one here, you're
fire away.
Okay, it's the Voting Rights Act.
Right.
He voted against the Voting Rights Act, so they're citing that as some sort of major, he's a racist pig, schmuck, lowlife.
Exactly what it is.
See, you have no idea.
Exactly what it is.
But the point of the Voting Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act was passed in 1965 to protect voters in some of these racist states in the South. And the states in the South, the situation in the South in the 60s is a lot different than the situation in the South in the teens.
Yes.
And so he voted against it to lift these undue burdens and restrictions on the state of Alabama.
He's a racist.
One of which was they wanted to implement voter ID laws, which I think you agree with. I think you agree that voters should have identification when they go to the voting booth.
Obviously.
That's what Al Sharpton and these idiots are citing. But without going into detail, of course, on the surface, it sounds, you voted against the Voting Rights Act. It sounds horrible. But when you look into it just a little bit,
I think the denial.
and you add all the other things.
I think the judge denial weighs more heavily than what you just spoke about.
I told you about all inspectors.
I don't care what all inspectors.
If you scratch it,
listen, you can always find somebody.
Surface.
You can always find somebody or something.
Listen, I cited more than half a dozen things.
I gave you 2 big ones.
No, you didn't. I refuted them.
You did
a Democratic senator, inspector.
Hold on. Just because you refuted them, and just because you found a guy on the other side, what is that? That means he's not a racist.
So he said a couple of things back in the 80s. He who is out without sin cast the first stone, my friend.
He said a couple of things.
Yeah,
in the 80s.
That's the only.
So it's okay.
That's the only.
Okay.
I didn't say it was okay. First of all, they were unsubstantiated.
No, they have been substantiated.
No, they're not.
I saw Sharpton talk about it.
Yeah, you saw Sharpton talk about it. 1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid back after this.
On at 77 WABC.
Back on the Bernie and Sid show on 77 WABC.
Before we get to the phones, one of my favorite people. He listens every single day from Boca Raton, Florida. We've got a monster audience down there. In fact, the guy that actually started the Bernie and Sid fan club on Twitter, on Facebook, his birthday today, Gabriel, sorry, but you got Jerry from Brooklyn, you got Stephanie. Anyway, CJ Vaca listens every day, and he says this to your all-inspector note, Bernard. He says, all-inspector was a career Republican who, much like Donald Trump, became a Democrat late in his life, ... I love him, but Bernard is an idiot.
See, this is what Sid relies on, his Twitter feed to try to rebut
This guy's a buddy of mine, a smart guy.
I mean, this is what he thinks. He looks at his Twitter. How can I respond to Bernard? Let me look down
This is not Twitter. This is a personal text.
I know.
Was all-inspector a Republican?
Come up with something on your own?
Answer the question. Was all-inspector not a Republican most of the time?
Yes, he was.
He
was the leader on the Anita Hill.
Right. So why would you use him as your guy?
Because what I said stands. He was a swing vote. And he voted. He was a swing vote that denied Sessions the judgeship, and subsequently he said that it was one of the worst decisions he ever made, one of the worst votes, because Sessions was a good man.
Mm-hmm.
He was very, very sorry that he made that vote. That's the point. I don't care what your idiot friend says.
What, now he's an idiot?
Yes,
he's a listener.
And you know, for you to be going through your Twitter, what do I say? How can I get back to Bernard? There's something here. Hey, come on, somebody help me out here.
He said it. He said it.
Eli, Eileen, Jay, all you guys. We're going to get to you guys after Noam with the new.
From the Nouveau Fat Loss Studio.
77 WABC, where New York comes to town.
Get to Bernie and Sid now. 800-848-WABC, where New York comes to talk. 77 WABC.
This is America. Black people are not going anywhere. They're not going to be slaves anymore, so take that out your head. Muslims who were born here as Americans are not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. I don't know why you don't get this part.
Back on the Bernie and Sid show on 77 WABC. Whoopi Goldberg now talking to black people are not going back to slavery. So implying that Trump wants to, and company want. I mean, and you know, some people think she's a credible person.
Who?
So, she has a big audience.
No, she does.
People like her, and they actually believe stuff like that.
I can't stand her.
Spreading that.
I told you that from day one, by the way. I can't stand
That's true.
I even like Rosie more than her.
You even hear the local newscasts just repeating some of this stuff as if it's gospel without any kind of critical analysis or review. It's incredible. The racism, the last refuge of skunks with no argument, essentially is what it is. Yeah, they called Trump a racist ad nauseum. Didn't work. I mean, Jeff Sessions is a racist. Bannon, a white supremacist.
Anti-Semite.
Yeah, all of those things. None of that. But nobody's listening. It's like they cry. It's crying wolf.
So then what do you care so much for?
Lieutenant Michael Flynn and Islamophobic.
Why does it upset you so much for? Nobody cares. They're winning anyway. He's won. I mean, obviously you're right. I mean, it's not that nobody cares, by the way. She got 1 million more votes than he did.
I'll tell you
more of the country dislikes Donald Trump than likes him. Hate to break the news.
You have them filling these ignorant people's heads with lies, with falsehoods, and it's poisonous is what it is. You know, General Michael Flynn.
Yeah.
He was the guy who told when Obama he was the head of something called the DIA, Director of Intelligence Assessment or something like that. He was telling Obama ISIS is a problem. Obama saying no, it's not. It's a JV team. It's blah blah blah. He kept pushing back and he got fired. And that's who that's who General Michael Flynn is. He's a very brilliant guy.
Smart guy.
And the rest of these
very
guys.
Annoying, by the way, but a smart guy. Oh, was he annoying?
Hey,
I'm actually happy he got a job with Donald Trump and he's off television because, man, was he annoying.
Well, he's going to be back on television.
Why?
Because the Sunday morning shows, TV. Come on, he's a spokesperson.
Fine.
Eileen from Westchester County. You're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Eileen.
Hey, good morning. I know you've moved on from the Hamilton story.
No, we haven't.
No, we have We actually have a whole board of phone calls talking about just that.
Yeah, because you guys are missing a whole part of it. I'll give you some background information so everybody can understand why the actor felt the need to speak out. Broadway has always been a safe haven and advocating for the LGBTQ community. Mike Pence has continually spoken out and voted against LGBTQ rights. In 2000, he passed legislation that would cut aid funding to programs that advocated for homosexuality as opposed to denouncing homosexuality. The actor who spoke out is an HIV-positive gay man.
He's entitled to his opinion.
Okay, but her point is, is that Broadway, and you guys know this, both of you, Broadway is filled with a lot of gay actors. They take a lot of what Mike Pence has done personally, unlike we do. So they're pissed.
That is stereotyping.
It's always the voice of reason, always.
That is stereotyping.
No, it's not. It's true. It's not. That's
Broadway,
true.
And I'm offended by it. Yes, I'm a snowflake. Yes, I'm offended by the fact that you're saying that
it's true.
Broadway actors. Now, listen, Eileen, it doesn't matter. The guy goes to a play. That's his opinion. You know, we have two sides. You go to a play. It's a safe haven. It's supposed to be anyway.
The hen shouldn't walk into a room of foxes.
What happened was if the actor really felt that way, and again, I don't like Mike Pence all that much. I certainly don't like Donald Trump. I voted against him. But the truth is, I agree with Bernard here. If the actor was that incensed or that upset with Mike Pence, you go before or after the show, hey, listen, VP-elect, can I talk to you for a second? But to do it on stage in front of everybody, there is no argument for that. That was absolutely out of line.
And it's
out of line.
It's not like the CNN and the news networks aren't doing all of his bidding for him. It's all out there. Everybody knows. Everybody knows his history in Indiana, where he was for.
Yeah, but if this guy was really upset personally, then you know what? You grab the guy to the side and you say, hey, Governor Pence, VP-elect, this is how I feel. I'd be okay with that if he was really that upset. But to do it in front of everybody, you cannot make a logical argument in defense of the actor. And I know there's a lot of gay actors on Broadway, and I know they're pissed off, and they have a right to be, because Mike Pence does have a history with that stuff. But you don't do that in front of his family at a play.
Inciting an angry mob in that theater, mob that was booing him was very dangerous, and thank God for the Secret Service.
82-year-old lady from Sutton Place may hit him with her Gucci bag.
Let me tell you something. You remember that 78-year-old guy gave the elbow to somebody?
I do remember that.
You get 10 old ladies on one vice presidential elect.
They did bully him, and they're always against bullying, and they did exactly what they're against.
That's right, Flirty Flipper. Exactly right. They bullied him. Let's go to Keith from New York City. Keith, you're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Keith.
Hi.
Hi there. Hey, Keith. How are you?
I'm fine. I first want to say I'm black, I'm American, and I'm a New Yorker. These artsy-fartsy acting a-holes please don't equate those idiots with me. I'm a New Yorker that voted for Trump, and I'm black. If you disrespect the man or you don't like the man, tell him, like you just said earlier.
Right.
Respect the man, if you don't respect the man, respect the damn office. And all these idiot blacks that talk about going back to slavery. Where the hell were you? When I first voted for Obama, I voted for him the first time. Normally when I go to vote, I could go in and out within 3 minutes. The line was around the block about 5 times. And I said, where were all you a-holes when there was a white man that would have been doing good for us? Even what they call the crackheads and the winos were in line to vote for him.
That's
right.
right.
Not going back to Africa or going back to slavery. Get off your goddamn a-holes.
Oh.
You're getting somebody who is there. I had 2 old ladies sit next to me talking about, Trump is nasty. You did this one. I wish Bill will run again. I turned and said, you a-holes talk about one Bill again. He was in the president. He was in the office of the president, and he did what he did. That's the kind of woman. Come on. People get off your heads, out your ear, out your butthole.
You tell him, Keith.
Get your act together.
Yeah, Keith is
You
pissed.
tell him. Listen,
Keith from Mayor.
Kimberly Guilfoyle, who'll be at the City event, the New York Yankee Steakhouse on Monday night, she had a good line. She said that Obama promised us hope and change, and instead we got chump change. Now we're going to get some real change, yo.
Very
Kimberly
good. That was
Guilfoyle.
Kimberly, not Greg Gutfeld?
No, that was Kimberly Guilfoyle. And by the way, this audience here, this is not just old lady. This is a high price ticket. This Hamilton ticket.
Very.
It's just $200 plus. People waited a long time.
I know.
This is a crowd of liberal elites oblivious to the people, the former people who voted for Obama and promised this change and didn't get it. And they're hardworking people. They're out of jobs. They're out of touch with those people. These guys have theirs. They're all good.
No, there's no question you're out
They're
about
all
that.
good.
Yeah.
Let's go to Jay from Westchester County. Jay, you're on with Bernie and Sid. Good morning, Jay.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking the call.
Sure.
Just wanted to weigh in on the whole Hamilton thing. I don't think it was inappropriate what the actor did. I mean, I think he shares the concern of a lot of people in the country. As you know, the country we're deeply divided after this whole election cycle. So I don't think it was inappropriate. I mean, who knows if he would have had access to Vice President elect.
Yeah, but that's what makes it inappropriate is the fact that he did have the access and the fact that he did have an audience there. That makes it inappropriate.
Hey, go out and march with the people on Fifth Avenue.
Yeah,
if you got a problem.
Right, go up to the guy and say something to his face. But when you know you've got a captive audience, Jay, and no one's going anywhere, that makes the whole thing inappropriate right there.
I mean, it's a matter of opinion. I mean, like I said, I personally don't think it was inappropriate.
Well, I think it was. And I don't even like Pence. I don't even like him. I don't.
Let me tell you
something.
something.
I'm not. Listen, Jay, I'm with you. I mean, I don't like Trump or Pence. I hope. I mean, they're in. We can't do anything about it. I really hope they do well for the country.
Me too.
We all live here.
Jay,
We all live here.
Obama shows up on Broadway with his daughters. He sits down at a play, and some actor starts yelling at him over Obamacare, and it sucks. And hope you. I mean, come on. You not see the problem there? You don't see how that would look. That would look like a racist whole endeavor right there. I mean, that's what the screaming would be. Of course, so it works both ways.
It would look racist. I wouldn't agree with that either. I mean, I don't know. It's. I don't know. I agree. I don't disagree with what the actor.
The guy was verbally lynched. It was so inappropriate, rude, and ignorant also because, of course, Trump has said he wants to make this country great again for everybody. He has said that for all the world.
But a lot of people don't believe that. I don't know what he said.
I know that, but he has said that, and that's what he's going to do. Give the guy a chance.
Well, listen, I'm with it. I'm giving him a chance, but a lot of people are not going to give him a chance. That doesn't matter. I mean, they hate him. They hated his campaign. It was an insult-ridden, childish, sophomoric campaign, but he did, in fact, reach out to people who are pissed off. But the other side is pissed off, too. Again, let me remind you, he lost the popular vote, and the million people that voted for Hillary ahead of him can't stand Donald Trump. They don't just kind of dislike him a little. They voted for Hillary. There's millions of people in this country that hate Donald Trump. He's the least popular candidate ever elected.
You hear these morons like Whoopi Goldberg spewing that false venom like that. Of course they hate it.
It's not false venom. That's how she feels.
And ABC and all the New York Times have been doing it for months and months. Of course they do. Eli from Queens, you are on with Bernie and Sid on WABC.
Good morning, gentlemen. Top of the morning to you. Me, I'm a black Queens-born deplorable of Haitian extract.
My man.
Let me tell you something. Listen, Karen Johnson of all people is nobody to talk about Africa or any kind of racism. She changed her name to a stage name because she figured it would prosper her to have a Jewish family name.
He's talking about Whoopi Goldberg.
All right, so let's keep it 100 there. And I mean, this Hamilton Act, I mean, I'm so tired of these self-ass sniffing entertainers come out. They say this is like the most expensive ticket. The most expensive show. But you want to talk about representation of all Americans? Like, stop it. We need to start a campaign to all these ball players, all these actors, all these singers. It's called Ask Your Feelings. Trump won. The American people decided. It wasn't a white lash. Trump outperformed Romney, where all these experts were betting their asses. I mean, they were ass betting that it wasn't going to happen. They can't get over it. But this hypocrisy is just nonstop. It's just nonstop. The D.L. Hughleys of the world, they all need to STFU like ASAP. It's sickening.
I love it. The way you feel ain't no big deal. To quote an old song. You're absolutely right. And Trump did outperform Romney with Hispanics, blacks, women, et cetera, et cetera. They were wrong every step of the way, despite all the demonization and characterization that they attempted to perpetrate on my boy, the president-elect Donald Trump. 1-800-848-9222. We have a great guest coming up next hour.
We do. I love this guy. This guy, I'm going to say this in the...
Exclusively. 77 WABC.
No sleep till.
Beastie Boys classic. No sleep till Brooklyn at 11:07 on your Monday. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Bernie and Sid show here on legendary 77 WABC. Phones are open as always. 1-800-848-WABC. 1-800-848-9222. Had a nice back and forth with you guys on the Hamilton story this weekend, how the actor on stage actually went after Mike Pence. And I do believe that Rosen is going to join us this hour. Is that right?
He's going to join us momentarily. But in the meantime, do you know why Flirty's playing this song? A, because James Rosen is a Brooklyn kid.
Yes, he is. As
but
I am.
B, the Beastie Boys were in the news over the weekend.
I didn't see that, so I don't know what happened.
Well, not apparently. Somebody drew a swastika in a park that was named after the late Beastie Boy, Adam Howard.
You know, it's funny. I saw the swastika story. I saw the name Adam, whatever his name is, but I didn't put 1 and 2 together and figure out that was him from the Beastie Boys. So I did know the story. I had no idea it was him.
So right away, this Adam Horowitz, he organizes some rally to go out there to blame Trump. And they had this big, and not understanding that it's probably a hooligan, a teenager, or a hoax.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
You know what I mean?
Oh, that's too much.
It's unbelievable.
It really is a bit much.
So he's out there. They had a big rally, and it turns out that a lot of these incidents recently have been complete and total hoaxes.
Yeah.
And obviously designed to make Trump look bad. And the media and the guys like Horowitz eat it up, suck it up. I don't know if they're willfully ignorant or what it is, but it's always been the case. You have some.
They're pissed.
It's the ultimate trolling. You draw, paint a swastika on something, and sure enough, the news trucks show up.
Oh, absolutely.
KKK, sure, if the news trucks are there,
sure.
And it's anti-Semitic graffiti, and meanwhile the kids at home going, that was me.
Yeah.
In other words, encouraging that type of behavior. Just it was just this Adam Horowitz was just a bit much yesterday. You want to take a listen to this guy.
Keep your eyes open. Stand up for each other. Don't be afraid to step in or enlist the help of others, because this is homegrown terrorism for real. Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, and Staten. From the Battery to the top of Manhattan, Asian, Middle Eastern, and Latin, black, white, New York, let's make it happen.
I think that kid Adam from Beastie Boys went to Morrow High School in Brooklyn, Midwood Field, but my wife went.
They didn't teach him very well because he's a dying moron is what he is, an idiot.
He's dead. I'm talking about the kid from the Beastie Boys.
I'm talking about Horowitz.
Oh, Horowitz is an idiot.
Yeah, he's a fool. Just a fool. Understand what's happening here. As a matter of fact, my friend Greg Gutfeld.
The bullhorn sound. Yeah.
My friend Greg Gutfeld over the weekend, he had his show, and he opened it. Take a listen to what he said.
Did you hear the story of the Muslim student claiming her hijab was torn off by men in Trump hats? Turns out she made it up. Or the Boston guy who said he was harassed by men saying it's Trump country now. He made it up. The story about students wearing blackface after Trump's win? They made it up. A KKK rally in honor of Trump? Made it up. In fact, almost every so-called Trump-caused hate crime seems about as fake as a bag of Charlie Sheen's teeth.
The punchline was...
And that was the case. I'm sure that's the case out in this Adam Horowitz Park with the swastika. And all these people are freaking out at some stupid hooligan. I mean, it's a horrendous thing. You can't be painting...
no, of course not.
But if it's a hoax or it's a dumb hooligan, some guy trolling
it's
you...
It's less evil and less deviant.
I bet you I know who did it.
Who did it?
Hillary.
Yeah, blame her. By the way, Greg Gutfeld, I'm not happy with him. He did spend over an hour on the Howard Stern show last week and did not mention you or us. So just telling you.
I don't think he was asked.
What does that mean? You bring it up out of... I'm on O'Reilly, my buddy Bernard McGurk. He's the man. He's the ba-ba-ba. I mean, if he had any class at all...
He's got plenty of class, and he's funny. As a matter of fact, just coincidentally, Greg, my buddy Greg, had as a guest,
right?
He had Fox News journalist James Rosen.
Oh, the great James Rosen.
The great James Rosen, who happens to be the author of a fantastic book, which I have now... since his last appearance I have fully read. It's called A Torch Kept Lit, Great Lives of the 20th Century by William F. Buckley Jr., edited by James. It's a compilation of eulogies that William F. Buckley has given verbally or written in the National Review, and it is absolutely a fantastic read. Buckley was one hell of a wit and intelligent guy. James Rosen, good morning to you.
You guys are so good to me. Thank you so much.
You actually, not just us, but the I-Man himself, Don Imus, this morning was giving you some high praise for the book and some of your work. How about that?
Well, the check is in the mail. He knows where his bread is buttered. No, I'm very grateful to my friends.
You know, he was Mr. Imus was talking. He was fascinated with Whittaker Chambers, the whole Whittaker Chambers Alger Hiss thing, and in the book, Whittaker Chambers actually wrote for the National Review after being a communist. He switched sides. The whole Alger Hiss thing went down, and he wrote for the National Review and was a friend of William F. Buckley's until he passed away in 1961, and there's a nice, eloquent eulogy to him in that book. So anyway, but I don't want to talk about Whittaker Chambers as much. He wrote eulogies, did William F. Buckley, in this book, A Torch Kept Lit, and they're not all hagiographic in nature, if I may use a $3 word with you, Mr. Rosen. He would actually criticize people like Eleanor Roosevelt was simple, Nelson Rockefeller was responsible for the downfall of New York State. But the one that really stuck out to me was his eulogy. In his eulogy, he criticized Winston Churchill for selling out Eastern Europe, and I was floored by that.
Yeah. So one of the things that makes A Torch Kept Lit such an easy book to read and such a good gift at Christmas for your friends, your family, is because you could pick it up at any point and just turn to any of the great figures that interest you and just read those one by one and put it down and come back to it. In the case of Winston Churchill, you're talking about someone who was routinely lionized in the conservative community, and the eulogy by Bill Buckley, who had seen Winston Churchill speak himself in public in 1949, and he recounts watching the elderly Churchill struggle to the podium to speak. He celebrated the life and accomplishments of Winston Churchill up to and including the end of World War II, but then is very harsh on Churchill for continuing to stay in public life when he did not have the stamina to prosecute the Cold War as it required, with the result that about 1/3 of the world's population wound up enslaved behind the Iron Curtain. And Buckley was very critical of that. And so that is a fascinating entry in the book. You're very astute to have settled on it.
How about that? Very astute. How about that? Well, talking about being astute, he was astute. To his credit, my partner, I got to give him credit, the whole way in this election. He said from day one right to the very end, when in fact nobody, especially me, gave Donald Trump a chance to win. There's a solid majority. He's going to do better with minorities than people think. And some of that may have been wishful thinking, but to his credit, he said exactly the way it would turn out, and it turned out that way. I was wrong 1,000%. Last time you were on, James, I tried to make the argument that Donald Trump was not going to keep it close, and you cautioned me not to do that. And in the end, Bernard was right. So even though you cautioned me not to do that, were you still surprised that night that he won going away with the Electoral College?
First of all of us who surround you as your loved ones try very hard to keep you on the right path. It's not easy work.
No, it's not.
But yes, I was surprised. I cannot claim to be one of those people who was out and about predicting Donald Trump's going to win and he's going to win big, of which group, of course, the leader in that category was Donald Trump himself. We're going to win so big, we're going to win so big. But I think that it's certainly a day of reckoning for not just you, but a lot of people in the media, and particularly our reliance on polling. One of the refreshing things about this event, even if you were a staunch Hillary Clinton supporter, I have to imagine, is that we live in such a data-driven age, and we all think that we're stuck like flies to the great data grid, and there's no getting off of it, and there's no defying it. And here we had an event that defied all the data that we had at our fingertips, and it showed that we can still live in a world of surprises. And even if you don't like the particular political outcome here, that should be somewhat reassuring, I should think.
Well, it hasn't been though, because the people who don't like the political outcome, for the most part. I mean, the day after the election, I said, listen, it is what it is. I've got 2 young children. I hope he succeeds. I hope he does great. I want this country to be great. Unfortunately, a lot of folks are not with me, and they are very angry, pissed, in fact, that Donald Trump won. They continue to show it in the streets, even at a Broadway theater. What are your thoughts about the way those people are reacting?
I think there's a lot of bad behavior at work.
I think roughly half of the nation, of a very divided nation, is proceeding fitfully through the 12 stages of grief. Some of this has amounted to denial, but really a kind of special form of it that we might call paid denial. And I think that sooner or later it's going to settle out, and he will be accepted as the President of the United States. It's not like he's Gerald Ford, who became president without being elected vice president or president of the United States. But Ford's very first words to the country after being sworn in were to say, "My fellow Americans, I've just taken the same oath of office as George Washington and every president under the Constitution." His message was, yes, we all can agree it was a strange way that I got here, but I am the President of the United States. I took the same oath. And eventually that's going to settle in, and Ford was accepted as president. And I think that'll be true for Donald Trump ultimately as well.
And also this tantrum that we're seeing there. Did you say paid deniers, James?
Yeah, I think there's been some reporting to the effect that some of these protests have not exactly been spontaneous. But you know, when you talk about the hypocrisy of it, I was reading where some fashion designers have decided that they're going to deny their services to Melania Trump. And as foolish and self-defeating as it is, because we can agree no first lady will ever, quote-unquote, wear it better and make for a better advertisement for that designer. The hypocrisy is really crystalline there, because the people who are spitefully denying their services to Melania Trump, who did nothing wrong, by the way, are the same people who are the champions of the view that even if you're an evangelical pastry shop owner in New Jersey somewhere, you should not be allowed to deny your services to a homosexual, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of bad behavior at work here, and I do hope it settles down. It's not only in the interests of us as a society, it's in the interest of these people as individuals not to hang on to that kind of anger about an election outcome.
Well, you said that eventually everybody will kind of get over it. Squeaky Foam didn't, by the way, with Gerald Ford, just so you know. But just to show you that there's Mike Pence in a crowded theater on Broadway on Saturday night, and the actor, of course, addressed him. The people were booing him, and I think kind of tongue-in-cheek, Bernard and I kind of joking around about the comparisons, what happened with Abraham Lincoln, also in a theater, and an actor on stage eventually killed him. But there is a little bit of scary stuff going on here. Some of these people are a bit above and beyond just expressing their opinions verbally.
You know, that incident at the theater was very disappointing. It's the type of behavior toward a singular figure in a crowded theater that is redolent of authoritarian regimes. And I would say that it reminded me of the Woody Allen movie Stardust Memories. I don't know if you remember that one, but Woody Allen in that movie played a very Woody Allen-like director, and he was sick of being a director of very popular comedies, and he wanted to do something serious for mankind. And everywhere he goes, people keep saying the same thing. Even in dream sequences with Martians, they keep saying to him, "Like your early funny ones better." And finally, the Martians say to this Woody Allen-like director, "You want to do a great service for mankind? Tell funnier jokes." And I feel that if the cast of Hamilton needs this reminder as well. It was no one went to that theater to hear the actor who portrays Aaron Burr get political.
Nobody.
You want to do a service for mankind? Put on a better show.
Exactly. Wow. Very good. Very well said. You know, a lot of these people, we're speaking with James Rosen from Fox News, also the author of A Torch Kept Lit, Great Lives of the 20th Century, a compilation of brilliant eulogies by William F. Buckley throughout the years. Now, a lot of people say that these protests are a manifestation of this participation trophy nation that we live in. A lot of these people are young folks. And a lot of folks in the past were inspired by Gandhi, Martin Luther King. These idiots were inspired by Chelsea Handler and Miley Cyrus crying on Instagram, for God's sakes. I mean, it really is a pathetic statement on the next generation.
Well, I personally am a Chelsea Handler fan. I will confess to that.
Chewy.
But I would say that Saturday Night Live, of all places, did a great send-up of all this. In a recent episode where they had like a fake commercial for a real estate venture called The Bubble. And it was basically where liberals could live underneath an actual bubble where they're shielded in their safe space from any adverse news from the outside world, such as the election of Donald Trump. And at the end, they just said, yes, one-bedroom apartments in this place called The Bubble are starting at $1.9 million. And it said, The Bubble. it's Brooklyn with a bubble. And I thought it was refreshing to see Saturday Night Live tackle that kind of subject as well for one.
Actually being funny again. So let me ask you this, James. I saw a tweet this morning, and it said that every single GOP appointee over the past 15 years has been labeled a racist by the Democrats. Which one is closer to being true? That tweet or Jeff Sessions and Steve Bannon? Not such good guys.
Well, more broadly, again, and this goes back to what we were just talking about with respect to the liberal response to the ascendancy of Donald Trump. Every Republican president at the dawn of his administration, from Richard Nixon on, has been branded by the left as embodying the dawn of a new fascism. And with each individual Republican president, from Nixon onward, we've been told, all right, the gloves and the authoritarian fascist mask are coming off this time. This time it's for real. This time we're going to see repression in America with a K, spelling America with a K.
Right.
Even George H.W. Bush got this treatment. People forget it, but at the time he was labeled as a...
It really is the last refuge of skunks with no argument to label people as such.
We lost them.
And James Rosen, the brilliant James Rosen.
So good.
You know what? He probably just hung up on us.
Yeah, enough of this.
He's
enough
like,
of this.
You know what? I'll just pretend my phone cut out. I'm sick of these bald-headed dummies.
Have you done that before? I've done that during interviews.
Of course I have.
Yeah. And they call me back like 10 times in an effort to get me back. And like the next day, I'm like, the phone was dead for the rest of the night.
Email him back.
Now they know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost you. That's too bad. I wanted to ask him because he covers the State Department. And we were talking about the State Department. Alger Hiss was a Soviet spy in FDR's State Department. But I wanted to ask him about Trump's whole campaign was anti-interventionism, anti-Iraq war stuff. And yet he's considering John Bolton, Rudy Giuliani.
All pro-Iraq war guys.
Right, exactly.
Why would you do that, though? That's going to make Donald Trump look inconsistent.
Even Mitt Romney. But he is interviewing this Tulsi Gabbard, this congresswoman who was a virulent virulent anti-Iraq war person, even though she served there. I just wanted to ask him what his thoughts on all that stuff was, but I guess we're not going to get him back. All right. Hey, James Rosen, the Brooklyn kid.
Great job.
Grew up in Staten Island. Brilliant guy. The book is A Torch Kept Lit. William F. Buckley, compilation of eulogies, brilliantly written. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
It was great. The book was great. He was great. But we're over the phones again here because he had a really good little thing going. All these folks out there commenting about the whole Hamilton thing. 1-800-848-WABC. 1-800-848-9222. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. You got Noam and your phone calls on Hamilton and whatever else you want to talk about. More of Bernie and Sid right after this.
77 WABC.
Kellyanne, what are people saying about my cabinet appointments? Do they love them?
They're certainly very passionate about them. I just saw one very nice tweet saying that they were great for our nation and the future of our children.
Tremendous. Who sent that?
David Duke.
Back on the Bernie and Sid show at 77 WABC. That was
funny.
Saturday Night Live.
Bring back Daryl Hammond.
That seems to be the talking point. David Duke, Nazis, KKK, right? I mean, they haven't learned. They have not learned the lesson. And that was. Did you see that opening?
Yes, I did.
Did you see it, Sid?
I did not see it.
It wasn't funny.
I saw the
horrible.
I saw the news. It was so bad.
So bad.
I mean, bad. Danielle and I were like, "Come on."
Are they like crying all week long, marching on Fifth Avenue, and then like on Friday night they go in and try to write a show? I
guess. I don't know how Lorne Michaels allows that to go on, man. I mean, it's really bad.
He's given up, I think.
I guess.
Apparently. And last night they had the American Music Awards, and they had this. You ever hear this girl Gigi Hadid?
Gigi Hadid.
Yeah, she's like this. She was in the Hunger Games or something. Yeah. Some 22-year-old model type.
She's in the paper today, actually.
She was on. She co-hosted with Jay Farrell, formerly of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
He did a Trump impression that was horrendous. Just
Jay
not
Farrell?
funny. Jay Farrell.
Yeah.
Anyway, she did a Melania Trump impression.
Melania Trump impression. Okay, I gotta get the face right. Okay. I love my husband, President Barack Obama, and our children, Sacha and Malia.
That's spot on! That was spot on!
Yeah.
Spot stupid.
That was Jay Farrell. Oh my God.
She was trying way too
Terrible.
hard.
That's just.
What channel was that show on last night?
Look, imagine somebody was imitating Michelle Obama, mocking her like, I don't know, whatever.
Well,
I say it a million times.
What channel were the AMAs on last night?
You know what? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Didn't watch it.
I had no idea it was on until I mismentioned it this morning, to be honest.
And it turns out that Melania Trump, speaking of her,
she was there?
She's not going to move to the White House.
No, she's not.
Did you hear about this?
Well, yeah, I told Imus this morning. I did the same thing. I moved here with you last January.
You're comparing yourself to Melania.
Yes, it's the same thing because my kids are about the same. Barron's 10 years old. My son's 8. He'll be 8 Thursday. My daughter's 12. They're in the same kind of scholastic situation Barron is in, and they were in school in Florida. So Danielle and the kids stayed in Florida till they finished and met me up here.
So it's a good move, matronly move, a good motherly move.
I think it
part.
is. Or else you take the kid out in the middle of the school year, and scholastically becomes a problem, and the friends and all that stuff. I think she's making the right move. I did the same
what
thing.
What about the people are whining about security at Trump Tower?
Oh, be quiet. Whatever.
You see, immediately I thought this is just like Green Acres. She doesn't want to go to D.C.
Right.
She wants. In fact, remember the theme song?
New York is where I'd rather stay. I get allergic smelling hay. I just adore a penthouse view. Darling, I love you, but give me Park Avenue.
That's a better Melania impersonation than Gigi.
I never liked this show, by the way.
The Stores.
Fresh air.
Times Square.
You are my wife.
The drugs.
This was my favorite part of the show, was the song.
No gold.
The whores.
But no.
This was a weird television time like this. I think this was on like right after Mr. Ed or something like that when I was a kid.
I don't know, but I just had that conjured up that image.
It reminds me, yes.
Donald, I am not going to Washington D.C. But you make a way more plausible argument.
Yes.
It's for the kids.
It's for the kids.
It's all about the kids, yo.
Exactly,
it's about the kids.
Right. It's for Barron. Barron needs to finish up his school year before it gets all screwed up, and then hang out with his friends and move at the end of the year.
And how about Kanye West?
Oh, please.
Losing his mind.
No, he's not losing his mind. He lost his mind a long time ago.
Remember what he said last week? He said he would. Well, this is what he said.
I told y'all I didn't vote, right? But if I would have voted, I would have voted on Trump.
If he would have voted, he would have voted
for Trump.
On Trump.
Yeah.
Yes, right. But then over the weekend, he just went nuts. He's talking about Beyonce and.
Well, you know what? I think he's trying to start like the good old days of the wars, you know, and him and Jay-Z.
Actually, I think he's just losing his mind. I mean, he did say that Jay-Z. He dissed Beyonce. He dissed the fact that Beyonce and Jay-Z won't let their kids hang out with him and Kim Kardashian's kids.
Northwest.
And then he was begging Jay-Z last night not to have him whacked.
Yeah, I know.
This is what he said. Listen.
I've been sent here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life. Jay-Z called me, bro. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man.
He said, I know you got killers. Just don't send them to my head.
He has more of a chance of dying if his wife sits on him.
Don't kill me.
Well, a lot of people still think that P. Diddy killed Tupac, right? Isn't that right? But we think that what time is his friend? He's in jail now.
Suge Knight.
Suge Knight killed everybody.
Who knows? I mean,
he killed them both. He killed Big E and he killed Tupac.
The East Coast, the West Coast. I mean, who can decipher all of this?
Kanye. How long ago now did Kanye say? It's amazing. He's still the same guy that way back when said George Bush doesn't care about black people. Still the same guy.
That was 2005.
Katrina.
Yeah.
So it's still him in the cycle. Kanye West.
But it seems like it's getting worse. In fact,
it's over.
TMZ says that he's taking a breather to deal with personal issues.
Oh, is that right?
And as I mentioned, I think I mentioned to you, my sources are telling me that the personal issue is that he went home to Kim and he saw an L.A. Clippers team bus parked outside their Los Angeles home, and he freaked.
That'll send them overboard, no?
Yeah, and we heard like music blaring. He went inside and saw some unspeakable things. And this is what my sources.
Do we know
if
it was Chris Paul or Blake Griffin or Jamal
know.
Crawford? We don't know.
He went to the back of the house and he saw an L.A. Lakers bus out there.
Well, that had to be D'Angelo Russell then. These are names that are new to you, aren't they? Admit it.
No, D'Angelo Russell is my boy.
That's your
right
boy.
There. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Clippers bust.
Anyway, we wish Kanye all the best.
No, we don't. I can't stand Kanye West. I don't care. I couldn't care if we never saw him again. If they put him in a white room forever, never let him out again, the world would not be any worse off.
You know, you make a good point.
I can't stand that guy.
You make a great point. I hate the guy. He's an idiot. He's a moron. He's
absolutely.
He's deluded, and he's a psycho.
Yeah.
And ever since he snatched the VMA award from Taylor Swift, I've always wanted to kick his ass.
Right. Well, you're a big Taylor Swift fan, though. You love Taylor Swift. Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't?
I hate her.
She hates her. There you go.
How could you hate Taylor Swift?
She just annoys me. Her music, her.
But you hate her?
Music's great.
She is a pretty good musician.
I don't like her.
She's a nice young lady.
How do you know? She could be a raving bitch.
Well, because I actually have spoken to her bodyguards. I have right here on the 17th floor.
Right.
We don't want to. Oh, we don't want to go there.
No.
Hey, who do we want? Ed from Riverdale or Michael from Manhattan?
Let's go to Michael.
Michael from Manhattan. You're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Michael.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes,
sound great.
I'm telling you, I'm so pissed off at this. It's a good thing I wasn't in that audience. I would have stood up, and I would say to them exactly what I would say now. Who the hell do you think you are? You are not the consciousness of America. I am, and I'm not going to deal with this. My pushback is I'm not going to the play. I'll never go to the play. If they want to boycott clothes to his wife, forget that. I'm not doing it. This gentleman, he came to New York. The New York experience is going to a play and having dinner, okay? So they took that and they turned it into something else. He's a public servant.
Something ugly.
He has no right. And I'm looking at all the people on the stage and I'm saying, I can't believe all of them feel this way. And he had no right to do this, to use that. And it's an outrage.
It really is.
I mean, the play, screw the play. And that's what we're the consciousness of America, the people that buy things, okay? And if they want to play games, these are Hillary games. I mean, she's still alive and well, and I think her footprints are all over this. I mean,
I don't know about that. I don't know about.
You were doing great up until that point.
But I'll tell you what, it was disgusting. And look, the guy he was an actor who played Aaron Burr, who actually shot Alexander Hamilton to death, and I mean, it conjures up ugly images. He's an actor. They're in a Broadway show. John Wilkes Booth was an actor, and it was in a Broadway show that he killed. I mean, the whole thing was ugly.
It was just out of line.
Mob mentality in the thing with his daughters there.
Out of line.
It was horrendous.
Like I said, you grab the guy before or after the show. If it's really keeping you up at night, and you say, listen, I'm really happy you were here, but I got to tell you, this kind of bothers me. Give Mike a chance at that point, Pence, I should say, to answer or not. But it was out in front of the whole audience on stage. Was just disgusting.
I hope Pence gets his money back. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he liked the play, though. By the way, my father checks in, Harvey Rosenberg, and said the AMAs were on ABC.
Oh, Harvey, a big fan of the AMAs.
I don't know. He knows he watches and listens to everything just in case you and I bring up something.
You know what? I love Harvey.
Of course, I love him too.
And I love your moms as well.
Naomi's the best.
I mean, we got to put them on the air one day.
We do?
Yes, we do.
No, my mother more than my father. You'd love my mother.
We got to put her
Look
on
at you,
the
so
air,
funny.
man.
Look at you.
That would be great.
Only if she yells at him.
Listen.
Oh, she'll yell.
She is like, from what you've said.
You got to get Norman Lear back in the studio when she comes on.
Oh, gosh. So let's go to.
She's a great lady.
I'll tell you what. Let's do, what is it? Ricky from Brooklyn? What do you say, Flirty? Ricky, you're on the air with
talk.
What's up, guys?
All right, brother.
Arrogance is just out of control with these people, and I can see into the future, and I see what's going to happen when we don't bring back slavery, and when Trump and Pence turn out not to be these racist bigots that everybody's saying they are. These people are going to take the credit. They're going to think it was because of them. They're going to point to that day in the theater and say, that was the day, kids. We stopped Trump and Pence.
We told them so,
back, You know?
Right, yeah, they'll try that, but then nobody's gonna buy that crap. Like they're not buying the whole racist, the crying wolf thing. They started that. By the way, they did, like as James Rosen pointed out, they do that all the time to all Republicans. They cry wolf constantly. They demonize Mitt Romney, the same crap. He was some sexist pig slob, rich guy. And then when it came to Trump, they tried. I mean, how could you do any worse to Trump than what you did to Romney? You couldn't. So, in other words, they make bogeymen out of all the Republican candidates, and people see right through the media. And that's why the media have their approval ratings are lower than pimps and freaking cockroaches. The disgusting pigs is what they are. By the way, there was a guy in the Chicago performance of Hamilton.
Yeah.
Got up and started screaming, Get over it, you MFers. STFU. Trump won. You lost. Shut up.
On stage, an actor?
In Chicago.
Good for him.
No, not an actor, an audience
member.
An
audience member. Okay. All right.
I mean, his way of expressing
That's
himself.
Fine. He's allowed.
Turnabout is fair.
Did they
play.
kick him out?
I think he got arrested for a hate crime. Bernie and Sid back after this.
77 WABC. Traffic.